From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
Well, you might be able to get the coronavirus vaccine sooner than you thought. Now at noon, the new guidelines that could make more Hoosiers eligible for the shots in the coming weeks. Now that Alabama is the national champion, the college football world turns its eyes to Indy. We'll show you the handoff to the Hoosier State, the countdown to next year's big game, and what the city hopes will be bigger crowds than what would be allowed right now. Thanks for joining our team here on the News at Noon. I'm Lauren Casey. Our Todd Clausen is standing by from home on this Tuesday. Todd, what can people expect as they head out the door for their lunch hour?
Believe it or not, Lauren, I'm finally saying this. It's over a week now since I've been saying it. The skies, they are mostly sunny. So you can go outside and enjoy the sunshine and temperatures, which are still obviously chilly, but the sunshine just always helps everything. Take a look for yourself outside right now, and you can see the sun shining on the Circle City here as you look off to the west towards White River State Park. We started off with some clouds this morning, but now the sunshine has finally broken through in most locations. It's 34 in Indy as well as Terre Haute where the sun is shining. Those darker shades of blue off to the east. That's where we're still dealing with a little bit of cloud cover. And we do have some wind chills out there that are in the teens and 20s. So even though we have the sunshine, obviously you still need to bundle up a little bit. And you can see that cloud cover that's still in place in Richmond as well as Greensburg. Now, it's not a guarantee that the sun's going to stay around the entire afternoon, but at least we have a pretty decent period here of sunshine with temperatures that should top off right around a 40 degrees. We're clear tonight. We should keep the sunshine one more day, and then some changes start to occur once again. More on that, Lauren, coming up for you in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. So new coronavirus numbers are just in from the state health department this midday. While new case numbers are down, the death and positivity rates remain high. More than 3,100 new cases of COVID-19 were reported today. However, another 88 Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus. That pushes Indiana past 8,700 deaths since the pandemic began. The positive test rate also remains high. The 7-day average is now above 27% for unique individuals. New this midday, more Americans may soon be able to get their COVID-19 vaccine. The federal government is now asking the states to speed up delivery of vaccines to people older than 65 and others who are high risk. It's a recommendation that President-elect Joe Biden's coronavirus task force plans to follow through on after Biden takes office next week. The government now says that states should no longer hold back the second dose of the 2 shots. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says that the government is now confident that Pfizer and Moderna are making enough vaccines where everyone who needs it can get that second dose. With just 8 days left in his term, President Trump is traveling for the first time since last week's deadly riots at the Capitol. It comes as the House is set to impeach the president for calling on protesters to march to the Capitol just hours before the riots. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington for us with the latest.
6 days after the deadly attack on the Capitol and with more threats looming, the House is gearing up to impeach President Trump for a second time. In his first public appearance since the attack, the president blasting the effort to remove him from office.
It's absolutely ridiculous. This impeachment is causing tremendous anger.
House lawmakers set to vote today on a resolution calling on Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment, which would remove Donald Trump's presidential powers. The president and vice president speaking last night for the first time since the insurrection, while most cabinet members stay silent on the possibility of removing the president from office.
The rhetoric last week was unacceptable. I'm not going to get into or discuss the 25th Amendment here.
Assuming the vice president doesn't invoke that amendment, the House is expected to vote on impeachment as soon as tomorrow. But the effects of last week's attack already rippling far and wide. Dozens of major businesses cutting ties with Trump and his allies who voted against the certification of the election. New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick turning down an invitation from the president to receive the Medal of Freedom, citing last week's violent events. With only 70 arrests made so far, the nationwide manhunt continues to identify the thousands of rioters. And now new evidence of more threats. The FBI sending out a bulletin warning armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals leading up to Inauguration Day, January 20th. Officials in Wisconsin already boarding up the Capitol. House Democrats briefed on multiple threats against Congress. While some specific threats have been identified against President-elect Joe Biden, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. President Trump declaring a state of emergency in Washington, D.C.
I want to continue to ask all of our residents to stay away from the downtown, to enjoy the inauguration activities virtually.
And ahead of that possible impeachment vote this week, a source tells ABC News more than 15,000 National Guard are on hand here in Washington to supplement law enforcement. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Well, we reached out to Metro Police about the FBI's warning that there could be terror activity at state houses in every state leading up to the inauguration. Here's what IMPD told us, quote, officers have a presence at any planned demonstration in our city to ensure the safety of those exercising their First Amendment rights, but are prepared to intervene and hold accountable anyone who becomes violent or otherwise endangers the safety of our community. A statement also says if you know of any planned threats to call Crime Stoppers, that number is 317-262-TIPS. College football crowned its national champion last night as Alabama defeated Ohio State in the playoff championship game. That event comes to Indy next year. A game it is 4 years in the making, and our Brad Brown is at Lucas Oil Stadium today for the virtual handoff to 2022. Brad.
As the confetti fell last night on the Alabama Crimson Tide as college football's national champions, the countdown began for that sport's biggest game. And now all eyes on the Circle City as the national championship for 2022 gets set to come to Lucas Oil Stadium.
There's a lot of energy. Watching the game last night, you can't help but think like this is going to be in Lucas Oil Stadium. It's going to be awesome. I think the main thing for us is to bring all of our resources together, all the great leadership from the community, and really get our nuts and bolts planning going with the national staff at the CFP.
January 10th will be game day next year. What the sports landscape looks like then remains to be seen. But the Indy Host Committee is planning for anything.
What our approach has been is we're going to plan this event as though it's going to be happening the way that we want it to happen, and then putting contingency plans behind that associated with what the public health environment may be, what the weather may be. But our initial plan is to go big.
The big plans are spread out over 4 days, including a fan fest, free concerts, media day, and then the big game itself.
We've heard many other cities, many other event organizers, sports and otherwise, saying what's going on in Indy and how can we be a part of it. So it's naturally a bright spot, and it gives us optimism, and it points our collective community energy towards something to look forward to.
So what else is in store for Indianapolis's chance in the college football spotlight for 2022? Coming up tonight on the News at 6, I'll talk with the executive director of the college football playoff about the bigger picture of what we expect to see here in Indy. At Lucas Oil Stadium, working for you, Brad Brown, WRTV.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. Speaking of Lucas Oil Stadium and on the field new this midday, the Colts are actually losing one of their anchors on the offensive line. Today, Anthony Costanzo announced his retirement. Costanzo has been the Colts' starting left tackle since he was drafted in the first round back in 2011. He still has 1 season remaining on his contract extension that he signed last year, but instead he is leaving the game after missing significant time with injuries the past 2 years. Costanzo says that playing in the NFL was, quote, a reality unlike anything I could have even imagined, and we wish him well. It's been part of what's been called a major cleanup of Monument Circle. Next, the people who are being moved from the area and how several groups are making sure that they're not making that transition alone. Todd.
And Lauren, mark it down on your calendar here, January 12th, the day that the sunshine returned to central Indiana after what's been a long stretch of cloudy weather. The question is, how long is this sunshine going to stick around? We'll answer that for you coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes when the News at Noon continues right here on WRTV.
ABC's General Hospital.
So right now in Monument Circle, it's a different type of moving day. People who have lived in encampments downtown are having their belongings moved elsewhere. Noon today was the deadline for homeless people who were staying on the Circle to move away from the area. The city and Metro Police say it's a matter of public safety. IMPD is among more than 20 organizations who have been working with the homeless to help them store their property and find new places to stay. Police tell us it means that you should not see anyone being forcibly moved today.
Well,
That is not our intention whatsoever. This has been a resource-centric operation from the beginning, and it will continue to be so. DPW will be on standby with us so that people that have property on the circle still that have not had an opportunity to have that moved and stored for them. But I think it's also important for people to understand that individuals have a constitutional right to be in public places.
So people who had belongings on the circle were given a chance to store them in secure bins at the Department of Public Works for up to 60 days. Other organizations are working to find temporary or permanent housing for them. So are you still looking for your stimulus check? Well, next we're getting answers as to where your COVID relief might be and the differences you may notice from the first round of payments that went out last year. Let's take a live look outside today, and here it is. Todd mentioned it, the sunshine finally out after about a week here across the Circle City. We'll get a full check of his forecast for the week ahead. That's all coming up right here on the News at Noon. Stick around.
A Hiring Hoosiers partner.
Well, the federal government says about 80% of the second round of COVID-19 relief checks have been sent out, but the rollout of that money has not always been that smooth. So our Nikki Dementri is getting answers for you if you're still looking for your stimulus payment.
Don't know which way to go or what to do about it.
It's this message on the IRS website that has Cristina Flores Morales frustrated and angry. The Indianapolis mother says she's still waiting for her second stimulus check. In the spring, she says she saw the first direct deposit stimulus check fairly quickly in her joint bank account with her husband.
It means a lot. I mean, I can pay quite a bit of my bills with this. I mean, I have my house payment to make and car payments.
Flores Morales says 2020 was an especially tough year. Aside from the struggles of COVID, she got into a debilitating car accident, lost her job, and lost her 29-year-old brother.
I would just like, to not have to worry about paying the bills.
What would your advice be to her?
I mean, she can call the IRS. Their hold times are tremendously long right now. We could be talking about an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you have a CPA or, an enrolled agent that you work with to do your income taxes, you could contact that person.
Michael Jameson with On Target Tax says overall, the second rollout of stimulus check has gone, quote, much smoother, even despite some issues last week with checks being deposited into phantom accounts.
So the IRS said that they are working on getting those payments reversed and then it going to the correct account.
The tax expert also notes the second check may not come the same way the first check came.
They're trying to make it so they can turn it around a lot quicker and not make people wait 2 months. So yeah, they're using both methods.
January 15th is the cutoff date for the U.S. Treasury to send out second stimulus checks. Jameson suggests waiting a week or two after this date to see if a paper check or debit card shows up. If you did not receive one or both of those stimulus checks and believe you are eligible, make sure you apply for the recovery rebate credit when filing your taxes. Working for you, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
Nikki, thank you. So the tax expert that Nikki spoke to says if you're applying for the recovery rebate credit, you want to do that early and be sure to add your direct deposit information. He says tax e-filing is expected to open later this month or in early February, so keep that in mind. All right, let's get a check of our forecast right now with Todd Clausen. Todd, we're finally seeing the sunshine here across central Indiana, and even though it's cold, we'll take it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dust off my sunglasses here when I head out and about later on this afternoon. We haven't seen the sunshine, or at least any sustained sunshine, in this forecast since last week, Monday. So it's been a full week, and we'll have it for at least today and hopefully tomorrow before some changes start to occur once again. Here's the view from downtown off to the west, and you still notice a little haze out there. There's still some moisture out there, giving us a little bit of a damp feel, but the sunshine has finally mixed down. The cloud layer wasn't very thick the past couple days, but we were just never able to get that sunshine through it with this temperature inversion that we had. But that is now gone, and you can see we're enjoying a much brighter day, thankfully, across the area. 34, that's the current temperature in Indy right now. The wind is out of the south at 13 miles per hour. And yesterday, the wind was out of the northwest, and that kept the clouds in place. It kept us chilly, but with that southerly wind, we should be able to warm a little bit further here throughout the course of the day today. Where the clouds are still in place, you do notice it's a little bit cooler. Richmond, Connorsville down towards the Greensburg area. It's 34 in Martinsville as well as Bloomington. 34 is that common number from Tipton over to Muncie as well. I'll show you the wind chill. Still feels like the teens Queens and Columbus. So it's definitely brighter, but you'll still need to bundle up a little bit as high temperatures today will eventually be topping off right around 40 degrees in most locations, the low 40s down to the south. Here is that satellite picture, and you notice one thing that is happening. The clouds have cleared, but notice how they're building back a little bit in this direction. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to keep the sunshine for the entire afternoon. So take advantage while you have it across the area. But there's no storm systems heading our way, at least for the day today. This evening, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the 30s. And tomorrow's probably the best weather day of the week. It's probably the warmest and the brightest. The sunshine tomorrow will be the first half of the day. And then the clouds are going to increase as we work our way into the afternoon hours, but it's still dry with that high of 45 degrees. I'll jump ahead here to late Thursday on TrueCast. Thursday's still in the mid 40s, but a front is going to be heading our way. Initially, we're probably going to be dealing with some rain showers late Thursday evening, but at some point overnight Thursday into Friday, we're going to transition over to some snow showers. Now, this is not a storm that has a lot of moisture with it, but it will probably have enough moisture with it to keep snow showers in the forecast off and on throughout the day on Friday and then into Saturday as well. And it probably has enough moisture to probably create some issues on the roadways, both visibility-wise with some snow squalls and also putting down some minor accumulation. So we're not talking about a lot in the way of snow here, Lauren, but it will be opportunity here on our 7-day planning forecast. I do think for some slick conditions across the area. Plenty of time to fine-tune that forecast. Until then, finally enjoy the sunshine that we have out here across the area.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, the old adage is still true in the new year. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau tells us this is especially true if someone is promising you something for free if you simply give them a like online.
Yeah, there's a lot of social media posts out there that are offering giveaways, things like $500 worth of free groceries. All you have to do is comment on it or like it and you're entered. First thing you need to understand is it's actually not a contest. There's no giveaways. What they're doing is called like farming. They're trying to get a lot of comments and posts on that particular social media post. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take that content off and put something else on there. And it's going to look like it's a very popular sort of offer that people are going for and liking a lot. One of the things you want to look for is a lot of social media posts in order to verify the product, or if there's a celebrity, they'll have this little blue check mark. So if it's got a blue check mark, that's going to give you added assurance that it's legitimate out there. But just be careful about, liking everything that you see out there or thinking that you're going to enter a contest. A lot of those are just fakes. They just want to get your comments and your likes.
Tim, thank you so much. There is more information on this scam and other scams right now on BBB's website. It's bbb.org. So when we come back here, it's time for our Pet of the Week. We'll see if you'd like to take Muffin home with you. We'll tell you a little bit more about this sweet little kitten and see if Muffin will be a part of your family. That's all coming up right here on the News at Noon. Stick around. It is time for our Pet of the Week since it's Tuesday, and so today we have adorable little Muffin to show you. Andy Humane says Muffin is looking for a home that can appreciate everything she has to offer. Muffin loves to climb and would love a home that has shelves she could sit on. Muffin is also a big fan of bird watching, and she'll need to be the only pet in your home. She also loves treats so much you can actually train her to do a few tricks for a food reward. Andy Humane says she's even learned how to sit pretty. So if you'd like to be introduced to Muffin today, sounds like a real character, you can make an appointment right now by visiting indyhumane.org. All right, Todd, pretty cute cat there, but if you're heading out the door, maybe to give the dog a walk, it'd be a great time because the sun has come out.
Yeah, it's sun shining right now, so get out there and enjoy it. I know you're probably not seeing as much sunshine on the eastern portion of the state. And unfortunately, I don't think the clearing is probably going to quite get to you. In fact, the clouds are building back in a little bit already. So enjoy the partly sunny skies while you have them. Tomorrow, 44, some sunshine still. Clouds gather on Thursday, and then Friday, rain, snow mixture going over to all snow showers by Friday afternoon. And then throughout the day on Saturday, some minor accumulation will be possible. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. We'll see you back here for the news at 5. Have a great Tuesday.